So, very good evening to all our viewers today. We have with us a very special and a very talented guest. He has been the 25 CSR professionals of India by CSR Times, declared among the 50 most influential people in the CSR space by the World CSR Congress, 25 most impactful CSR leaders by India CSR. His work for skill development, which has been conferred by Ministry of Finance and Corporate Affairs, and has been also been awarded by the President of India recently. He's also on the expert panel of IICA, CSR Committee of ASSOCHAM, CII, and has been a speaker in 50 plus national and international forums. A very warm welcome to you, Praveen, and such an honor and a pleasure to see you again.
Thank you, Harsha. It's great to be connecting again to you. I guess we last did it some 5 years before. Looking forward to have a wonderful discussion with you.
So, under your leadership, Praveen, firstly, congratulations for all the achievements. At a young age, you've been leading Spark Minda Foundation so dynamically. It's rare to find that. How have you built this successful career? What are the nuances that one needs to have as a CSR professional in the times that we are living in, to reach at the helm of affairs and to lead initiatives which shape the country?
Well, I come from a tier 2 city called Ranchi from a tribal state, Jharkhand, where the place where I used to stay, that was very close to a slum area. And I yet remember a lot of my friends used to play cricket with me from that slum. But once we started growing up, the the pattern of life, the selection of livelihood, education, and all these things changed, which today I'm able to observe. And then I wasn't sure that what is happening while I'm going to a convent school. My friends from the slum are leaving their studies, and that made me think that time also. I'm a Zaverian. I graduated from St. Xavier's, and after that, I took up by choice to study rural development. I studied from XISS Ranchi, and I learned about the community. I understood what is theory of development, how all such exercise for social and economic development should be executed, and then worked with a couple of NGOs, some foundations, and last approximately 11 years, I've been working for Spark Minda Group, majorly working in the domain of skilling, empowering persons with disability, healthcare, environment and resource protection, of course, in different parts of the country and abroad as well, wherever we are present. So yes, this is how the journey has been so far, Harsha, and it's been very exciting journey to meet a lot of stakeholders, to know, to learn. It's a razzmatazz, I would say. I mean, every day you get to know about something new, and sometimes with government, sometimes with our partners, some NGOs, catalysts, and development thinkers, development workers. I call myself also a development worker, where we connect to each other and we try, learn, try, replicate, scale up, and of course, build the nation better.
That's very inspiring, Praveen, to see your journey but you're like a role model to many of them out there. So Now, coming to the CSR world and the dynamic evolution of it. Every year we have new laws, new regulations coming into picture. What global trends do you believe that Indian corporations should adapt to make their programs future ready?
See, first, let me tell you about my understanding on corporate social responsibility. While you use the word responsibility, you also talked about the amendments which are happening, and the amendments happen with the act. So there is always a conflict calling it a responsibility and then tagging it with something called as an act. Think and feel as if it's an act for a mother to feed a baby. All right, so this is how I look at it, and then I very strongly believe that this is not something which is driven by the act particularly. This is something which is a DNA of the corporations who take it up, and we have many examples in our country, and the very concept of philanthropy for that reason also in India to give back. I do not necessarily criticize this. While CSR says that this is not philanthropy, but somewhere or the other, this you call it an act, is also driven from that very philosophy of giving back. Now, coming to the evolving, rapidly evolving, rather, I would say, worldwide, the trends of Indian corporations, I would say that a lot of technology is being integrated in CSR and sustainability, which will play a very crucial role in transparency, in implementation, of course, in reviews, and doing a lot of assessments. At the same time, I believe in the time to come, the ESG integration with CSR is going to happen. You know, the CSR is a small element under a bigger umbrella called ESG, where the S part talks about the employees and also talks about the social. So this integration is going to happen. I would say that the maturity of CSR is going to go towards ESG. I also foresee that there would be a consensus between a corporate and a service provider from the development space, which is not there today. But if we really wanted to get the global objectives, then this has to be a multi-stakeholders responsibility, where the corporations along with NGOs and government and many other stakeholders would be doing things. I also look at Indian corporations that they coin their own CSR and try creating USPs around it, and sometimes use it for the purpose of branding benefits as well. And they forget to link it with the government programs, because the government programs are well researched. They are completely need-based. There are baselines for it. There are research papers for it. Basis that they have been developed. I don't find many of the CSR programs in our country is supplementing directly to the government programs. And another thing which I foresee happening in future is a unified CSR program where many corporations will come together and they all will put in efforts to bring in that difference and that difference, that change which is needed at the global requirement, that will also happen. And I would also say that in the time to come, the very concept of circular economy will also be integrated with corporate social responsibility. I see this happening in the coming future, Harsha, with my knowledge.
That's a lot of things that you mentioned, but I would like to pick up on one after the other. I know we've not scheduled those questions, but since you mentioned on the technology front, which are the AI tools that you're using?
Yes, we do use a lot of it. So for doing our ESG data capturing, we are using certain tools. For monitoring our CSR projects, we have a few. For some of the environmental projects, we have things like geofencing, geotagging. For the purpose of reporting also, we have certain platforms that we've been using. So they've been very, very helpful. And we sort of bring in perfection. Sometimes we also use it with our partner NGOs to report, and also from our side, if we are not able to go to remote physically, we are able to sit and look at the platform directly and analyze things. So they're very, very helpful, I would say, Harsha.
So would you be a little more generous with the names as well?
So yeah, we have many partners, including you. We have been in touch with you. We are doing it with KPMG. We have Only Good as our partner, and few more. Yes.
Okay. Now, as the advent of AI has been coming, when you have to take up a new team member, what skills do you look at?
Well, for a new team member, not necessarily I would look for a knowledge of the domain. The first thing which I look at in any person when I am the part of the board is the attitude of that person, whether the person wants to be in this field or not. He or she uh, uh, at least have an attitude to know about the people in the planet, to explore about things. Doesn't matter. You don't know the very techniques of PRA. I make you learn that, but at the same time, you have to have that attitude inside. That's the first thing which I'll look at. But at the same time, I would also like to comment that if you want to be in this domain of CSR, development, sustainability, you are not necessarily needed to be a social worker. Rather, you are a social scientist, you are a social professional, you are a facilitator, you are a conduit. If you are in sustainability, you are not expected to be an environmentalist, but you need to know this subject. And let me tell you, globally, the agenda of climate is going to be big. Very recently, I read an article where Bill Gates was saying that only few skills are going to exist and will be needed in future, and one of them is about energy and climate. So you have to know this subject. You need to know what is carbon, what is water, how do we manage it, what is waste management if you are in this domain, and anything and everything which relates to people and of course to the planet. You will have to know it. You have to know the programs, the acts, the policies which exist for your country even globally, the human rights for that reason, the policy on equal opportunity that corporations have to incorporate in their modus operandi, the global agenda, uh, the the change in temperature of 2 degrees, and how are we trying to bring it down to 1.5, the skills for doing partnerships, how do you connect to different stakeholders. You have to learn that. Of course, the global goals like sustainable development goals, you will have to know to get acclimatized to be a good development or a sustainability professional. And more than that, I would say that you need to have a heart and a head and a very good combination of these two. This will make you a very good professional, Harsha, I believe.
Excellent. I hope that all the people who are listening, they get these points. Now, since you mentioned about the policies and the frameworks and the amendments, what is your take on the recent amendments of impact assessment being mandated or CSR funds unutilized? And what kind of amendments do you see should be introduced in future to make the work in CSR and sustainability more accelerated, if I may say it?
All
How do you,
right.
what kind of policies to introduce to accelerate the system?
All right. So this question has three parts. Let me first talk about the impact assessment and how do I understand about it. What is the act? First of all, the impact assessment is mandatory for those companies whose spending is 10 crore or more, or the value of the project is 1 crore or more. And if both these criteria apply, in that case, you have to get the impact assessment done for that project. And the company is permitted to spend like 5% of the total budget of CSR or up to 50 lakh rupees, whatever is lesser. That money you can spend for doing it. And this needs to be done within the completion of that very financial year. Need to be annexed in the annual report and to be executed, of course, by the independent agency. So this is what the Act says about impact assessment. The purpose, of course, for getting it conducted is to bring in more transparency, to make it like multi-stakeholders engagement, which comes in and gets reflected by getting the assessment conducted. And of course, the best of the utilization of the cost. That's also one of the reasons, and to know that how your programs and projects are performing. So when I studied, we also came to know certain ways to do these assessments. And during my college time, there was something that we learned called theory of change. So if you also remember, the theory of change evaluates the social effects on the community that you are able to bring in through your programs on probably on a healthcare program or an education or an skilling program, or how this program of yours could bring in the change in the quality of life of people. There was one. Then we also studied about something called SROI, which talks about the social return on investment, which is the social and value created, and that is monetized between the benefit and the cost, which is applied. That how much money as an input you put in and how much output you could get out of this program. Very recently, of course, this terminology called impact assessment got quite popular because this is mandated also. And at times I think that is it actually possible to assess the impact of a social and the economic project for the community within an year? And many a times I don't get an answer for it, and that connects my answer to your second question, where you talked about the unspent money. So the unspent money is something that is that can be kept as per choice also. Why? Because in that case, you can make a project an ongoing project, which could be done on the second year or third year also. And then you utilize that unspent money uh, in the subsequent year for that very project. Although you get the impact assessment conducted, I would not call it an impact assessment, because there is a sequence for it, which is called like input, then activity, then output, then outcome, and then impact. That's the right sequence of it. So impact generally for the social projects, it takes like good 3 to 5 years to get. But at the same time, since it's in law, and the law has also been brought, which I'm not criticizing at all, I have no rights to do it. But let me tell you that it is for the purpose of keeping a radar that the corporations are actually spending in the right way, and the impact is created, the change is seen, and that is also evaluated by a third party, and that reconfirms that that a change has happened. And if you are making it like a if you're going to make it like an ongoing program, then it shows your ability towards multi-year planning of a social project. It talks about the accountability, which doesn't just fades away within 1 year. I onboarded an NGO as a partner, and they are here with me for some 12 months, and then they are gone. That's not the idea. Let me onboard them for some 3 years, 5 years, or more, and then let me see that impact. And that there itself, I mean, if I talk about the law, that if you have an unspent money that needs to be transferred to a escrow account within 30 days, and then you have to spend it within a period of 3 years. Up to 3 years, if you are yet not spending it, then it goes to the Prime Minister Relief Fund, or there are some funds which are, of course, prescribed where it goes. So, yeah, I mean, that's the law say. So, yes, I mean, I would simply say that these two things are correlated. On the other hand, when you look at the impact particularly, so impact could be quantitative, could be qualitative as well. And there are few things that we really cannot actually assess. I at times look at some of those projects where the change is something which is happening in a way that you actually cannot map. The pressure that a lady from a tribal village is handling by carrying her baby in the lap and working in the forest, and then if a program brings in a difference to her life, what change happened in her thought process, how much of comfort she got, that I cannot map. Perhaps you can map the earning that she has, but you cannot map probably the time that she is getting with her baby to spend, and the relaxation that she can provide to the baby, and the baby gets the mother's love. So these are some of the limitations of impact assessment in my viewpoint. But I do believe that this is a very good intervention of Ministry of Corporate Affairs to add this as a mandate. I even believe that even for the smaller projects which are of lesser value, if these projects are of 3 years or 5 years, voluntarily corporation should get it conducted, should get the impact assessment conducted. And that will tell you the value of the project, whether it is giving the right social return on investment. And I also talked about the theory of change. So whether that has happened or not necessarily for the mandates, you are getting it conducted for the purpose of getting it annexed in your annual report. But by choice also you are doing it. These are my views on it. You also talked about the third part of your question, that what are the things which I foresee maybe in future, which could be done. So I believe in CSR, the social innovations which can bring in the changes in the lives of people, that could be encouraged. I also would like to endorse employee volunteerism, a lot of it, which should be done in corporate social responsibility, getting them engaged in an appropriate manner to bring in differences. I foresee this happening. The third thing which I would like to advocate, maybe in the form of an act also, that the concept of PPP, which I generally talk, just not explaining it as an public-private partnership, but also a private-private partnership. I would also like to explain PPP as Panchayat private partnership. A lot of change is needed in rural India, and probably I would like to advocate that the corporations should be mandated to spend mandatorily on some of the slum areas, some of the tribal areas, rural areas, or those areas which are vulnerable in nature and not necessarily in cities only. Therefore, I would like to advocate this concept, this very concept of PPP, where the Panchayat private partnership also comes in. Doesn't matter, you are in a metropolitan city, you please pick up a place which are probably vulnerable, which falls in the list of Niti Aayog as an aspirational district, and now we have aspirational blocks, Harsha. Okay, so we can pick that up, and then you do another P where you bring in another partner as another private partner from that very area to do this project collectively and to bring in this difference. So these are the few things that I feel like bringing in a change, probably propose a change. One more thing, yes. A lot of money is going to the Prime Minister Relief Fund, but we don't have a committee to recommend to them that how and where this fund should be utilized for the purpose of development. I have no doubt that the government is also quite capable doing that. But at the same time, since a lot of CSR money is going there, so some of the people from the fraternity can also go and can lead this fund, that where should that be spent.
See, I have one predicament. When we give money to, I mean, I don't know how should I say it. I don't want to make a controversy out of it. But how many government projects are actually undergoing impact assessments? I'm sure there may be some, but I hope that someday we all would be able to see the reports the way private companies are showcasing on their websites. So I hope the government also would consider all the PPP projects or the government projects. They are huge value. They are not 1 crore. There are hundreds of crores out there.
I hope the government, representatives who are listening to this conversation would not take me otherwise and would spare me. I love my job. I love my government. And with that disclaimer, I'm answering this question that yes, the government programs and projects do require audit, and they need to be audited, and that again should be done by a third party, and the definition of third party is going to be a little different from my side if I have to propose, and that's not going to be again formed by the government only. But there could be people who could be academician, who could be development professionals, who should be panchayat representative. And why not? If a program of Manrega is happening, let's say in a panchayat, then a committee from the panchayat should be able to audit it. And I know that there are systems of audit in Manrega as well, and things are getting better. But again, that needs a very organized effort. The way like the PDS system and digitization in our country is bringing in a better difference comparison to previous decades. I believe all such forms of means of verification should be imposed for all the government programs, projects, be that an infrastructure project or a social or an economic project or income generation project. Everything has to be audited.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I hope it goes to the right ears. And last but not the least question, which are the transformative projects by Spark Minda Foundation, which you see that could be replicated, and the thing that you were saying, private partnership or panchayat private partnership. So which are the projects that you look that could be collaboratively done with others? I do have one more question after this.
Sure. So I feel so proud sharing you maybe a couple of our projects. First, let me talk about our flagship projects, where we are working for persons with disability, and we conducted our baselines, need assessments, we conducted our focus group discussions, and applied all those PRA skills to know and to identify the problem statement and solutions around it. The key of success of this projects is collaboration, of course, because this project on persons with disability is with the government, is with NGOs, is with academia, many stakeholders, of course. We have reached to close to 25,000 persons with disability so far in different parts of the country, majorly in UP, followed by Maharashtra, Uttarakhand, Jammu and Kashmir, outside India in Indonesia, in Vietnam. What we do is that we provide prosthetic legs, we manufacture it, and then we fit it into the people, and then after doing it, we help them getting into some form of skilling in automotive industry. Then we employ them. We feel so proud sharing you that we are one of the largest employer of persons with disability in the country. And in our organization, there are 1,300 persons with disability, different types of disabilities working. We're working with zero defects. One of the most productive assemblies that we have is with persons with disability. And we feel so proud to tell you that we have done it in our manufacturing, Harsha, which is appearing to be as a mind block for many industries today, that persons with disability cannot work in manufacturing. We have substantiated that they are one of the best to do it in industries, Harsha. So that's one of the projects. One of the key USPs of this project is to conduct the job mapping exercise, where we listed all types of disability on x-axis and types of functions on y-axis, and try to see the best of the match, that what type of disability will fit into what type of function, manufacturing or non-manufacturing, and then we started deploying them. So we have 35 plus NGOs, a lot of state governments and IITs and sector council persons with disability, close to like 35 partners working with this.
Wow, that's very inspiring. And I'm sure that a lot of people watching this now or later would definitely work towards collaborating. We have a very special guest with us. We have Mr. Arun Arora. He's one of the most experienced minds in the country, working on CSR, sustainability, have led Vedanta and JSW and many other companies. And I would like to welcome you, sir. Please share your question, and we are lucky to have you with us today. And good to see you.
I thank you, Harsha, and it's a pleasure listening to my friend Praveen Kahan. Amazing thoughts, Praveen. And Harsha has a way of articulating when she wants to call me old person, she'll use all those adjectives to describe me. Thank you, Harsha, for using those adjectives. Praveen, I have a question for you. Your thoughts were really amazing. And I also like the way you ducked while talking about the government of India and their policies and their schemes. So that is a fair thing to do. My question is, since right now we may have limited number of audience, but I'm sure it'll be watched by a lot of people. A lot of people, since it is being recorded and will be shared with the larger community, especially the student communities will be watching it. I'm sure Harsha will ensure that all students of IICSR and other people also get to watch it. Praveen, I want to have your thoughts on why does and how does CSR make a compelling career option? Can you throw some light on that?
Sure. So today, if you look at the very concept of development, global challenges, sustainable development goals, you look at any of the government across the world. We recently have faced a pandemic, and all of a sudden, everybody started feeling the importance of life. All of us understood that what is significant about planet, and there are discussions happening on climate change. So these all things, Arun sir, are somewhere or the other getting noticed by the young people too. I saw my daughter studying in class 5. She's been taught sustainable development goals. And yes, I'm quite surprised that during my time, we used to have just one subject called environment science. And I would say that we were also being made aware about it. But the way today the education is bringing that awareness among the youngsters is amazing. I have seen a lot of universities mandating social work for the students other than their academia, which again will make them feel or make them understand that what are the requirements of their country. What is deprivation? What is poverty for that reason? What is needed in the society, in the country as a whole? So a lot of them are today aspiring towards development studies, environmental studies, carbon for that reason. I was sitting somewhere and I was asking a question to a very young guy. He coincidentally becomes my friend. What do you study? And he says that you would not understand what do I study. Rare people know. And he said that I study about carbon. So, I mean, see, today, while traditionally people are studying economics or history or science or things like that, today's youngsters are studying carbon. They understand what is climate change, what is this 2-degree thing. They are doing, ocean studies. And many other things are happening, Arun sir. A lot of universities all of a sudden have started offering programs on sustainable development. You look at historically, I mean, there are some colleges who are offering like TIS is there, IRMA is there, XISS, of course. But now, very recently, I heard about BIMTech. I heard about some of the IIMs in India, and many other foreign universities are offering it. So this is going to be a very good option. A lot of opportunities. I just now told Harsha that Bill Gates talked that energy and climate is going to be that one subject which is not going to be replaced by AI, and a lot of people would be required in this domain. If you look at one of the LinkedIn survey, it says that there's a deficit of 60% deficit of people for green skills. So huge opportunities and a lot to learn. So that's my take on it, Arun sir.
So I think thank you very well articulated, Praveen. Let me ask you a supplementary question. I think we focused more or less more on the environment and sustainability part. Talking about the CSR part per se, how do we build a case with the managements that CSR, sustainability, and ESG have a strong business case also? They not only lead to better environment, they also lead to better business sense. They lead to equity, brand equity, they lead to reputation, they lead to eventually a very positive business case. If that is something the management is convinced on, then they can offer high paying job to this domain also, including CSR, sustainability, and ESG, because some students are still reluctant to take it up because a lot of universities are offering these courses. Like you correctly mentioned, even schools are offering these courses, but in the marketplace, these people are not paid well enough for top talent to get attracted. So what is that? How can we change that, convincing management that this also has a strong business case, these domains? So this is what I just wanted to have your views on.
I think that's a beautiful question, sir. And my very latest observation is that gone are the days when CSR used to be a very support kind of activity, and sustainability was not the department for many corporations. But the time has completely changed today. These are very much the business cases. And why and how it is, I'll tell you. First of all, we all have to understand that profit is not a bad word. And if we try to associate that CSR is only for the purpose of philanthropy, we have to change our mindset. If your CSR is benefiting your business, what is bad in it? I'd like to take one example of a program that we have been doing inside the prisons of India. And we set up our manufacturing facility inside the prison, and the inmates inside are manufacturing our products that we supply to our customers. After supplying it to our customers, that the money that we get from our customer, we pay it back to the inmate's family. It goes to their account for their sustenance. Now, let me tell you that these products are super products with zero defects, and the wages which are payable are prison wages, which is lesser than minimum wages. And this is how the business is also being benefited. And that is the intent of the business to do it. That motivates them. At the same time, we are able to take a good care of our inmates who are inside. And while they were economically unproductive, they have an avenue to earn today and to take care of their families. And this case, I took an example. Why? Because my customer is also getting a very good product. Inmates are able to get plan B for their life. I'm able to create a crimeless society. The people will be benefited. And of course, a skill set will be given to these people. Once they are out of the prison, post completion of their terms, they can get jobs in the market. And this is benefiting my business also. So I strongly believe that this is not anymore a very philanthropic kind of checkbook kind of thing where the business has not been benefited. You know, a lot of statistics says today, BlackRock said that if you are not doing ESG, I will not invest in you. So, I mean, you have to do it. The government of India has mandated BRSR today. So you are completely transparent. We filed our BRSR yesterday. And I know that how much of facts are being disclosed, how much of investors are going to be aware about your footprints, how much of carbon you are emitting, what are your plans for reduction of carbon emissions. So you know, year on year, what is your progress? All that is very transparent today. And only they will invest in you who is serious about it. We are a B2B company. Our customers are asking for the data on carbon, water, waste management, and many other things, renewable energy. And they said that you can raise your RFQ only if these all criteria for the planet and sustainability is fulfilled. So this is not going to be something like a state where you do it or you don't do it. This is a mandate. It's a very much a business case. You let me tell you another thing, Arun, so that let's say you are operating in a place where you require water for your business, and let's say you are not doing water harvesting. The water level will keep going down, and a day will come that there's no water, and if there's no water, there's no business. You would not be able to produce, and your business is stopped all of a sudden. Why? Because you did not do water harvesting, groundwater harvesting, roof water harvesting, and your business got stopped. You did not make your business sustainable. You did not do any effort for it. So it's a very much a business case. It's very much connected to your, so-called balance sheet. So it's about, it's just not about, I mean, talking about CSR, that how do you spend that 2%, but how do you invest your balance 98%? It's about that as well, I would say, Arun sir.
All right. Thank you, Arun sir, for the lovely questions and very, very relevant for the future, especially the people who are considering to take CSR and sustainability as their career option. I really appreciate. So I'm in between two stalwarts sitting. Any final messages from both of you all? And yeah, I'd love to learn more. If any final messages to people who are watching it right now or who could watch it later. Arun sir, would you like to share first?
I missed that. What was that?
Any final, since you're also a guest.
Yeah.
any
In fact,
final
I have another interesting question. I love to evoke
Sir.
debate. Praveen knows we've spoken at a lot of common forums. You spoke about carbon credits and other things. Now, I always like to say this: the European Union, the guys, European people or American people who create all these laws about following these practices, they have happily decided to buy carbon credits. It's like I steal a thing, and then when I'm being produced in the course, I tell them, no, one of my friend is doing very, very kind-hearted. He's done so much good work. Can I borrow his good work so that you don't jail me for that? European Union is happily deciding to buy carbon credits being created by developed countries and some progressive companies, progressive countries. And these guys are happily buying carbon credits. So unfair. I don't know whether this is appropriate for this forum, but this is something I always wanted to debate on.
Well, I have to say a lot about it, sir. And when you look at India, I mean, this is a different era where we are talking about something called CBAM, where European Union is going to impose taxes over you if you are going to have the emission with more than the permissible limit. But the very concept of Chiti Jal Pawak Gagan Samira, that was taught in India hundreds of years before, and we need not to learn it from waste that, Western part of the world, that how do you ensure sustainability? How do we pray our rivers in our country? We understand the importance of renewable energy. We pray sun, and maybe it becomes controversial if I take an example of a state called Bihar, where Chhat Puja is offered. And if you look at the narrative of Chhat Puja, it is about environment protection, nothing else. It's about purity. It's about hygiene.
We even pray trees.
Absolutely, we pray trees. So we need not to learn it from the Western part of the world. We have our own standard traditional practices that can do a lot of things. And it's very, very biased also today that somebody who did their industrialization in an era did not calculate it. And today, all of the sudden, the rules are being imposed that once it's your turn towards development, you are imposing law over it. That's a very capitalist approach as well, I would say.
Okay, I should not comment anything. Well, each country has their own stuff, and
She's that Western who we are talking about.
sir, I pray the sun, I pray the tree, I pray everybody. I pray human beings also. I pray you as well.
In US, yeah.
No, sir.
Okay.
We appreciate your time and the knowledge shared, and I enjoy the camaraderie. I hope that you join us again as well in upcoming sessions. And any final thoughts from you, Praveen?
See, other than the corporate social responsibility and the industries from whom we are expecting sustainability to be practices, I strongly believe that there are individual responsibilities also, and that each one of us needs to take care of. So once we start doing our own social responsibilities and environmental responsibilities, I think this is going to be a beautiful place, a beautiful planet to be. And that's what I would like to end with, Harsha. Thank you very much for having me. It was such a pleasure talking to you, Arun sir. I can see a lot of my friends from the development sector on the online platform. So my good wishes to all of them for doing good. We all are here for bringing a change, a positive change. Let's join hand. Let's work together. We all can make this place a beautiful place for the future generations to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Praveen. It was an honor to have you, and thank you for the time and the wisdom shared. Thank you, Arun sir, and thank you to all the people who have joined us. You can always get in touch with Praveen on LinkedIn, and a pleasure to have all of you all. Thank you.
Looking forward. Thank you and namaste to everybody.